Okay, so welcome and thank you guys for coming along. It's always much nicer to cook with company. So what we're going to make today is I'm going to do the cooked mayonnaise because it's an absolutely simple, fail-safe mayonnaise. I just love it. Not bad, just all. The curried chicken wraps. So it's the filling for the wraps, and then I'm going to make some gluten-free, well, actually grain-free wraps. So the recipe, I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but about Fiona in a minute, but is a Fiona Hoskin recipe. So that's not on Cookie Do, but I'm happy to share it if you want it. All right, so we will get started, and I'm canceling that. And I'm going to find my files and come into my recipes. So cooked mayo, start cooking. Okay, so it's the first thing it says is actually put a jug on the top. Now, a little tip here, instead of putting a jug on top, put the jar on that you're going to put the mayo in. So I'm just putting that on top like that. It just saves a bit of washing up. 300 grams of grapeseed oil. I'm using up the end of one bottle and the start of another. I'll just turn that upside down and get the rest of it out in a minute. Okay. And the other one. Okay, Sheree, are you able to mute yourself, please?
Mute? Okay,
yes, please. Sorry. That's all right, no dramas.
I'm not sure how to do it on it, so be patient.
I will.
I'm on the iPhone, so I don't know.
So I've got my grapeseed oil there, weighed out. Set the jug aside. Okay. 1 teaspoon of sea salt. So I've got my salt out, I've got my teaspoon out, and now I can't find the salt. There it is. I'm just too organised. 1 teaspoon of sea salt. 30 grams of white vinegar. So I've just got very basic white vinegar. So with the white vinegar, with your TM6, you can use this in the cleaning of your TM6 instead of dishwashing liquid. It says up to about 50 grams of white vinegar. And definitely for the browning clean cycle, definitely use the white vinegar rather than the dishwashing liquid. I've never done it, but apparently it can bubble over. All right, if you use the dishwashing liquid with that. All right, so that's going to cook for 3 minutes. So I've just got the vinegar and the salt in there. Oh, yes, it does bubble. Okay, thanks, Vicky. All right, so whilst we're waiting for that to cook, I could have got my second Thermomix out, but I haven't. So I'll just a little bit about Fiona. So Fiona Hoskin, I'm hoping to do a little bit of an interview with her maybe early next week. I've got to give her a call today and see if she will. Actually, 2 years ago, she stayed with us for a couple of nights, and I helped her with a cooking class that she did at Glen Iris. So Fiona, her background is she's a chef. She ran a restaurant in Launceston, and she wrote an amazing book called The Devil of a Cookbook, which is a Thermomix cookbook, and she made it to raise money for the Tasmanian devil, which was going into, which is under, it's not extinct, but it's, it's threatened species. And she raised, I can't remember how much money, but she raised several $1 million, I'm pretty sure, for that fund, which is incredible. From there, she was a Thermomix consultant, and she is very much into healthy eating. She eats gluten-free, she eats dairy-free. She has a website called FionaHoskin.com, and she has a lot of free recipes on there. And the wraps I'm going to make are from there. So they are a beetroot wrap, and so obviously they're in a bit of a pink color, which is a bit of fun. And they will keep for, let's have a look. She says, cool completely Then serve, or put them in a Ziploc bag with a piece of baking paper in between each one and freeze until needed. To defrost, sit on the bench for 5 to 10 minutes on a piece of paper towel to soak up any moisture, and then use as desired. You can put them back in the pan and warm them up if you like. So she has the beetroot one, and you can also make green wraps, substituting the beetroot with spinach. But with this, that we do 100 grams of raw beetroot, which I've got already chopped up over here. But you only use 50 grams of spinach. But they are, you'll see, they're really flexible, and they're such a great option for anyone who wants to have gluten-free wraps, and it's good for all of us, because getting a little bit. Oh, Keisha did a live this morning, and she was talking about the benefits of beetroot. So it was to do with blood. You can come off mute and tell us what it was to do with, Keisha, if you remember.
It's good for blood flow. The blood is flowing better with the beetroot juice drinking. Yep. And when you exercise, for people exercising performance, it's better. And what else was it? Fiber.
Oh yeah, of course.
And fiber.
Cool. Thank you very much. That's great. Okay. All right. So I just welcome Margaret when she gets on audio. Okay. So going back to our mayo. So in a small bowl, crack 2 eggs. All right, so I've got my 2 eggs here. And then I'm going to turn this is something that's really good to see in action. It says turn the speed selector to speed 3. Meanwhile, follow the next step. So I'm actually taking, it doesn't tell me to do this, but I know that I've got to take that that off. I'm going to turn this to speed 3, and then it says add the reserved eggs through the hole in the mixing bowl lid. So Margaret, we're just doing the cooked mayonnaise at the moment. Now, the interesting thing, when you get something like that, it actually says done. So it takes you back to the previous screen, if you like, but it says done, please click next. So you just need to be aware that you are then going on to the next step. Reinsert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. And then what I'm going to do is, again, turn the speed selector to speed 6. Meanwhile, follow the next step. So that's going to be adding my oil. Then I've got to slowly pour this in.
Mandy gradually put the oil into the bowl, and the cup makes it so it drizzles down the bowl slowly. So the cup helps it to put it in a slow motion, the oil.
Sorry, very difficult to hear anything. All right, but and I find I'm not terribly patient, so it normally takes less than the time it says. But here's our mayo. It works every time. I really love this one. And you probably saw that I actually took the measuring cup off and just pushed the remnants that were sitting in the inside, the outside of the lid there in as well. So it's a really good mayonnaise, this one. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is just pour that into my jar. And to do that, I'm actually going to use the lid as a funnel. Oh, Dob just landed off the lid. So I'm going to put this here. And I'm just going to put it in that way. It just means that the inside of your lid is the bit that it's dirty anyway. So if you spill it, you're going to get it on there as well. But yeah, and the great thing with this is, I mean, I'm obviously going to use it in this recipe that we're making, but you can add different flavorings in. So I've done it before where at the beginning, actually chopped up a garlic clove and put that in there. So it's a bit more like an aioli, I guess, rather than a mayo, but you know, it's a garlic mayo as far as I'm concerned. You could put a little bit of curry powder in there, which we're actually going to do in this recipe. You know, anything, paprika, any, you know, sauces you wanted. You could add a bit of sweet chili sauce. You could use it for, you know, with seafood sauces, they're generally a bit of mayo and tomato sauce and I know a few bits and pieces. So yeah, very versatile base. I'm actually going to do my favorite little turbo to get everything off there. Oops. That's finished. Just going to flick through to turbo. Oh, no, not pre-clean. Oops. Turbo. So turbo. And most of it was out of the, you know, it was off the blades and everything, but I'm just extra every little bit I can. So it has cleaned those blades beautifully. That's what turbo does. And just remembering whenever you're in turbo, for the lid to release, you have to get out of turbo. So that's why I just hit the home screen there. There we go, it's a fair bit more coming out. Always worth doing that. Okay, so that's our mayo. So what I'm going to do next, actually, I think I might make the wraps next, so I've got the mixture ready, and then whilst we're doing the rest of it, I can be actually rolling out the wraps. So as I mentioned before, the wraps are Fiona Hoskin recipe from fionahoskin.com. It is a free recipe on her website. So they are beetroot wraps. Get them out of the bowl. Okay, and okay. So the first step is actually putting linseeds and chia seeds and salt and grinding for 10 seconds. In my cupboard, I actually had some linseed meal. So I do have plenty of linseeds too, but I thought this has been sitting there a while. I'm going to use that. So I'm not going to put the linseed in, whereas I would normally. But I'm going to put my the chia seeds in. So it's 150 grams of chia seeds. There we go. And 1 heaped teaspoon of salt. Okay, and you see this is all very nicely already ground up. So there's no point putting that in. So she wants me to do it for 10 seconds on speed 10. So 10 seconds. Now, I'm sure you all know, just touch the screen and that will stop the noise. Then I'm going to add the beetroot. I'll just show you what. So that's looking very like my flaxseed or linseeds. I'm going to actually put this in. Just give it a quick little mix before I put the beetroot in. I'm just going to put it on reverse because it doesn't need to chop. And just do speed 4 just for a few seconds. Yes, the mayo recipe is on Cookie Do. It's the cooked mayonnaise. It's in Australia. There we go. So I've just literally mixed all that up together there. Now, I've got to put my beetroot in. So that's 100 grams of beetroot, which I have actually already weighed. So that's going in. And I am going to chop for 5 seconds on speed 10. So I'm just going to let it count up. A long time. There you go. I've got all that beautiful beetroot colour in there already. If you can see, it's a bit hard to see. Pretty hard getting your light right, as Kasia and I both know, when you're trying to get the screen visible and everything else. But you'll see the colour a bit later on. Okay, just gonna. I thought I was going to hold it. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I've got to do is add all the remaining ingredients, and that is 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. So yeah, so this recipe is not on Cookie Do. This one is on FionaHoskin.com. I'm pretty sure it's .com, not .au, but if you can't find .com, look for .au. So that's my apple cider vinegar. Then I need 10 grams of olive oil. Oops, that'll be it. A bit carried away there. And 180 grams of boiling water. You actually find that quite a few recipes that are gluten-free use boiling water. Okay, so I'm going to do this for 10 seconds on speed 5. There it is. So I'm going to tip that out actually onto some baking paper. So it's actually parchment paper, not baking paper, because parchment paper is compostable, and I am reusing. So the parchment paper is already a sort of brown colour, but I've used this for something else, washed it off, and I'm just keep using it. So put this in, hang on, heat, roll the mixture out between 2 sheets of baking paper. I'll show you this. You'll see the colour a lot better in a minute. And as I mentioned before, instead of beetroot, 50 grams of spinach will give you a nice green colour. Okay. You can see, isn't that incredible colour? It's the same colour as your smoothie this morning, Kasia. Because it's got beetroot in it.
Yes.
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 All right, just gonna push that around a little bit, get it a bit squarer. And I'm putting another thing on top, which is also what happens a lot of recommendations whenever you're doing something gluten-free like this. It's often best to just put it between 2 lots of paper and then roll it out. So I will come back to that. I'm just going to finish washing my mayo bowl, and then we'll get on with the chicken. Okay. Use that lid. All right, so I'm going to come back to the recipes here into my week. Dry as my bowl was thinking. All right, curried chicken salad wraps. So I'm going to go into the recipe here. And so what I've already done is cook the chicken. So I have allowed it to cool for 15 minutes. Discard this, okay. So now I'm going to put the reserved cooled chicken into the bowl and we're going to shred the chicken. I've got mayonnaise all over this bowl, inside and out. All right. I'll pop the bowl back on. And there's my cooked chicken. Popping that in. Lid on. 10 seconds, speed 4, reverse. Transfer into a bowl. So I'm going to put it straight back into the bowl I took it out of. But there we go. There's all the chickens beautifully shredded. Put it back into a bowl over here. And that 10 seconds was quite a long time. I often do it just for 4, but anyway, it is very nicely shredded. It's great, you know, salads, all sorts of things, you know, even if you, some pies and things would be good shredded, obviously great in the wraps as well. So there's some great Vietnamese salad recipes on Cookie Dough where they use shredded chicken. And of course, there's pulled pork recipes on Cookie Dough, which also uses the same thing. All right. Great. Move straight on. So I now have, yeah, I've got 8 sprigs of coriander, and I also have spring onions. It says white part only, but I can't just put the white part in only. I'm you know, what am I going to use the green for? So I'm just going to chuck it all in there. 50 grams of toasted pine nuts. I think I'm a little bit short on pine nuts, but they are toasted. It's what I have. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm pretty sure I've got a few little pistachios. Yeah. Something I was going to use on something at some point, and I hadn't done. So actually, it's got a bit of flavouring in it. That won't matter. Put a few of those in just to get it up to 50. A few seeds in there as well. A few peanuts as well, I think. Anyway, waste not, want not. 25 grams of raisins. I've just got some little raisins in here. Got a husband who's been eating all the raisins. He's been attacking the packet. Seems to disappear, gets smaller and smaller every day. 3 seconds, speed 5. Okay, this is where our mayo comes in handy. So I'm just going to, so there we are, that's just all chopped up there. I'm going to add the mayo. Get a bigger spoon. Yeah, a bit more. It's always going to be over or under, isn't it? So that's used probably about probably about half on mayo in this recipe. 2 teaspoons of curry powder. So this is a Thermomix homemade curry powder with a very poor label on it. I think I've washed the jar a few times. I think that's the problem. But 2 teaspoons. It smells amazing. So the curry powder recipe is on Cookie Dough as well. 2 teaspoons of that. And half a teaspoon of turmeric. Going in. Salt. I'll just put that somewhere. Salt. and pepper. Now, really, really important when you have when you're using turmeric, that use black pepper because it helps activate the turmeric. Add the shredded chicken. So that's just going back in. Lid on. 20 seconds, reverse. Okay, Vicky, sorry, I realised I didn't have the chat box up. No, it's not cooked beetroot, it's just raw beetroot. Whilst that's doing that, I'm going to start rolling this out. Okay, so it just says basically to assemble top tortillas with shredded chicken mixture and rocket leaves and roll into wraps. So we're just going to finish off making these, get these wraps rolled out. And I love what Fiona's written in the recipe. Basically, trace around the Thermomix lid to get your circles. Which is a great idea because I'm not very good at rolling out in circles. So just get this. Actually, I need to roll it a little bit more because I'm never going to get 4 out if I leave it that thick. So I'm just going to make 1 at the moment so you guys can see, and then I'll come back and obviously make some more. Lid. So actually just push the lid in. It's pretty much done it for me. So I just get a little knife. That. Okay, so there we are, 1 wrap, and I will roll this, re-roll this out again in a minute and do that. I'm just going to pop a little pan on the stove and cook this one. It says heat a non-stick fry pan to medium temperature, fry until slightly golden by cooking about 30 to 40 seconds on each side. So no oil or anything required. But I do remember her doing this. So when she, when I helped her with her cooking class, she just had a little pan which she took with her, a portable one. Just literally flipped them one way and then the other. That was all done. So they're really simple. Obviously they're really healthy. We've got all those benefits that Keisha was telling us before about having beetroot. Look at it, great colour. Possibly could have rolled it out a little bit thinner, but I think it'll be fine. I'll just wait for this to heat up a bit. Move a few of my things out the way, then we'll be able to wake it up. So this is my cupboard with all my stuff in it. It would be nice if it was a bit more organised, but I've got it's a single ingredient cupboard. All right, so I've got different types of nuts. I've got buckwheat down here. I've got chia seeds. I've got goji berries, all those sorts of things. Those are mustard seeds there. And then at the top, I've got all my spices. And it's not, as I said, it's not pretty, but all I've done is try and reuse jars. And all these things, I just take them like this to the sauce and get them filled. So I'm not getting, stuff, a whole lot of stuff to throw out. It's very interesting. I think when it comes to zero waste, there are ways that you can cut down. You can certainly recycle. And I think going past recycling, the next stage is to not bring the things into the house that you have to recycle. So just trying to think a little bit more. Like I've bought some, my husband doesn't like it, but I've got a glass thing in the shower because I know I can, that can be recycled and recycled and recycled. Whereas plastic has a limited recycling life. And my shampoo seems to have taken forever to run out, but it's about to run out, and then I'm going on to the shampoo bars to try those out, because again, there's no packaging, there's nothing that has to be recycled. So anyway, that's my little recycle tip. All right, I've got the beetroot wrap it in the pan here. Clear a little bit of space. And get a nice plate to present on. So that's what our chicken mixture is looking like. Smells pretty good too. Nice lunch. Needs to be a nice lunch outside in the sun, I think. A couple more minutes on that side. So just whilst we're waiting for that to cook, has anyone got any questions?
I've made actually tortillas, flour tortillas yesterday.
Oh, did you? Oh, good on you, Keisha.
Yeah, but they stiff this morning. They were nice and fresh in the morning yesterday when they were like flexible and yummy.
Yes.
But today I put a little bit in the microwave to make them flexible.
Right, okay. Giving us another minute on the other side. Fantastic. So that's the great thing, isn't it, with your Thermomix, that there's all these different options, different ways of using it, and we can do everything from scratch if we want to. And you know, not every time we're going to if we haven't got time, but it is nice to know what you're actually putting into your body.
And I use our roti makers. Not roti makers, the other one. What was the other one?
The roti maker, was it?
The roti maker, yeah.
Yes. So there was a little phase on roti makers a little while ago, and we all bought one. I think I've only used mine when we came here as a team.
I think it's handy.
So just look, see how flexible that is?
Yeah.
It's just like a great little wrap. I'm going to get some filling out. Yeah, put that in. Give it a little, that's it, that's better. Put that in. Bit of rocket, sorry, see what I'm doing here. Bit of rocket, and then I probably overfilled. But there you go, easy to pick up and eat. Really healthy lunch. So any other questions from anybody? No, everybody's quiet. Are you asleep? No. Well, thank you guys for coming along. Much appreciated. And I will take a photo of this and put it up in our Facebook group as well. And I will post this to YouTube and post it in the Facebook group. Thanks, Keisha, for cooking along. Thanks, Margaret. And see you next time. So we are doing a class on Sunday at 4 o'clock. It's called Around the World. Keisha is making a Polish soup. I'm making kedgeree, and if you don't know what that is, wait and see. Pearl's making a Goan prawn curry because she's from Goa, and Irene's making the Cypriot Greek salad. So a little bit of variety and just really showcasing our backgrounds, I guess. Hope to see you there. Thank you. Bye.